All right, so in this lesson, we're going to write the Python functions for email processing. Let me add a markdown cell, just add a quick section heading here, and say functions for email processing. I'm going to create a function called clean_message. And I want this function to eventually return to me a list of filtered words. So I'll create an empty list, filtered_words, and then we're going to write some code. And then at the end, we want this function to return this list of filtered words for us. Now, what sort of inputs should this function have? Well, the first one should be an email message, an email body. We can then use this message and first of all, convert it to lowercase. So I can say message.lower. This will convert all the contents in the message that are being passed to this function to lowercase. And we can also tokenize the message. So word_tokenize, parentheses, message.lower will tokenize all the words in our message. So this is kind of a review of a lot of the previous steps that we've taken. So let me create a variable called words and set that equal to the result of all this work that's taking place in this line of code. Words will in fact be a list of all the individual words in the email body. So this means that we can iterate over this list of words, right? So we can say for word in words, semicolon, and then inside the loop, we can do some similar kind of work that we did before. We can remove the stop words and we can remove the punctuation. If the word is not in stop words and the word is not punctuation, in other words, word.isAlpha, parentheses, then stem the word. So we'll use our stemmer and stem the word. Once we're happy with that, we can take our list of filtered words and append the stemmed word from the stemmer. Now, we'll actually want to make this function a little bit more independent from the previous cells. So we can say the stemmer is going to be equal to the porter stemmer. What we're doing here is making stemmer an optional argument. And then our stop words are going to be equal to the set of stop words from English. Now we've created a function where we can swap out the stemmer and swap out the list of stop words if we wanted to. This bit of code here converts to lowercase and splits up the individual words. This bit here removes the stop words and punctuation. Now, let me hit Shift-Enter and try out this function. A little bit earlier on in the project, when we were learning about reading files, we had this example email, and we saved this email text in a variable called email body. Let's try out our clean message function on this email body right here. So coming down, I've got clean message, parentheses, and then email_body. Let me hit Shift-Enter and see what we get. We get an error, and that's because I've got a typo right here. Here we're dealing with the filtered words variable. Here we're dealing with the filtered words variable, but here I've left out the S. Let's try again. So I'm going to hit Shift-Enter on this, and hit Shift-Enter on this, and here's our output. The entire contents of the email are tokenized and also stemmed. So let me quickly copy this cell, come down here, paste it in, and modify the name of our function. I'm going to call it clean message underscore no underscore HTML. And I want to pose a challenge to you. I'd like you to modify the function that we've just written to also remove the HTML tags. And then I'd like you to test this function on the email with document ID number 2, namely this email right here. So pause the video and give this a go. Did you figure it out? Here's the solution. I'll quickly add a comment, set remove HTML tags, and then I'm going to use beautiful soup. So I'll say soup is equal to beautiful soup, parentheses, and then what? I have to provide 2 arguments, right? The first one will have to be the email body, which will be our message. And then I'm going to select the HTML parser as my default parser. To remove all the tags, I'll say soup.get underscore text, parentheses, but I'm going to store the output in a variable as well. I'll say maybe cleaned underscore text is equal to soup.getText. And then what I'll do is, instead of saying message to lowercase, I'll say cleaned text to lowercase. And if I hit Shift Enter now, I can come down here, click in this cell, and hit Tab on my keyboard, bring up clean message no HTML, and then in the parentheses provide data dot at square brackets 2 comma and then single quotes message. And if I hit Shift Enter now, we should see just a list of stemmed words and no HTML tags. Wonderful. Now we've successfully cleaned and tokenized a single email from our dataset. Now it's time to apply the cleaning and tokenization to all the 5,800 messages. And that's what we're going to be working up to in the next lesson. I'll see you there.